You start a new business, a new goal, a new task, a new skill. You're doing great. You're being consistent. You have conquered overthinking and procrastination, and all of the sudden something happens. You stop for a couple of days, that turns into weeks, and that turns into months, and then you're just left with guilt and frustration for giving up. Today, I'll share my 5 R's for rebuilding momentum. Welcome back to Right on Track. My name is Danna, and here we talk about mindset, alignment, money, and habits that create real freedom. So let me explain to you why momentum fades after you reach some level of consistency. In the previous videos, we talk how the brain always wants to go back to comfort. So the moment that effort it starts to feel like pressure and not like progress, your brain starts pressing on the brakes. So the idea is that you have to let your brain know that it's safe to continue doing this task or project that you have. For example, if let's say you were working out an hour a day and you have been doing this for months, then you got in vacations and you come back, well, your brain recognized that pattern that it was used to before and is going to do everything to push you back to that. Now, you are training your brain to enjoy being healthier, fit, and having this habit that was becoming second nature. But now you have to retrain it because you reminded your brain of this comfortable life that you had before. And we need to just remind our brain that this is our new comfortable. So how do we do that? We do this by just rebuilding momentum. And these are my 5 R's that you can apply to everything. So number 1 is to regulate. You can regulate by doing breathing exercises. So right before you're about to jump into the task that you are building or you're rebuilding momentum for, your brain is going to signal you like, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, I'm uncomfortable, I'm tired, I'm sleepy. And it works, one, to, be hydrated and not hungry and all of this, maybe have a cup of coffee and things like that. But it also works breathing exercises. I like to do this breathing exercises always before I record videos, or I have to study for school and things like that. But the breathing exercises are super helpful because it tells your brain that everything is okay, that doing this feels safe again. Now, depending on where you are in your journey, you might want to meditate as well. This is one of my favorites. I like to meditate 2 to 3 times a day. It really helps me concentrate, focus. I'm more assertive with my decision making, rebuilding momentum daily, so I'm always at my peak. Number 2, reflect. Reflect on what made me pause. And this is super helpful because it helps understand and get to know yourself. So if it's things like, for example, if I go out on vacation and I stop working out and then it was really hard to get back on the routine, perhaps I need to implement a couple of workout routines during my vacation that's going to signal my brain that this is something safe to get back to. Now, for projects or things like that, I have seasons where I have large projects at work, and I have seasons with my projects are just smaller and I have just easier days. So what I like to do is I need something to get me motivated on the long days, right? How I do this, I reward myself. And check on this video here that we talked before about the rewarding system, and it's going to help you a lot for your brain to remember. Focus. If you focus for a period of time, then you'll have a reward. So I do that as well. Number 3 is restart. So we restart with one micro action, and that can be like if I'm going back from vacations to work out, I would, instead of working out my regular hour and a half, I can just work out for like 20 minutes and then go for a walk. If I'm returning to work, for example, I like to arrive a little bit early just so, I can get in the mood, get my things organized again. I like, clean area of workspace, especially when I'm returning from a couple weeks from vacation. Anything like that helps. Or if I'm working on large projects, I arrive in early with a nice cup of coffee and cleaning my workspace. It just organizes everything around myself. Making my environment clear is what helps me move forward on bigger responsibilities. Number 4 is reconnect. So reconnect is very important because this is the emotion part of the habit, right? And we talk about that in other videos, so make sure you check those out. But habit loops are created by repetition and emotion. So the emotion is very crucial on this. Why are you doing this? So working out or having this active lifestyle is not just for the look good, but it gives you health. Health gives you longevity. Longevity gives you just more time with the people I love. And that is my why. Work, I'm really passionate about what I do. And so most of the time, work that is time sensitive, I learned to love the sense of urgency of my job. And I really enjoy that too. So why? It's a very important. And I always remind myself, especially during my meditations, progress over pressure. So it's a little bit different because progress take this little bit of emotion, will take this little bit of accountability, this sense of responsibility, and pressure is just something that you have to do and you don't have an option. So I like to always progress over pressure. And number 5, recommit. So recommit with yourself. And you can do this for short periods of time. For example, if you were going to the gym 5 days a week for an hour each day, you're just trying to get back to it, you don't have to go back on full speed. You can go back maybe 20 minutes a day, twice a week for 2 weeks. So let's start there, or maybe just for a week. Let's see how we adjust as weeks go by. But remember, progress over pressure, because we don't want to make our brain too uncomfortable that it's going to push you away your goals. You want to make sure that your brain is still comfortable and is helping you on not rejecting the goals that you have. Well, that is all for this video. So I would like to invite you to check out the videos in the playlist right here. Something that has helped me a lot is understanding how our brain functions, because then I'm able to train myself, to train my brain and overcoming all these little traps that our brain has. So please share with a friend. I know it's going to be super helpful. And tell me in the comments below what skill, goal, project you are working on that you will be using the 5 R's to rebuild momentum. I'll see you the next time. Bye.